So you just wrapped up your D&D session with your friends, and you hop online to go onto Steam and you see, hey, they added a D&D chapter to Dead by Daylight, and you think, hey, maybe I can RP as an undead lich in this game. And then you hop on and realize, holy moly, this killer is very difficult. Well, that's where I come in, and I'm here to help you. I am a P100 Vecna player. I hold the second highest win streak on him. I have been playing him since he came out. I love Vecna, and I believe that I have almost mastered every single thing there is to know about him. So this is the complete guide to Vecna, and I hope this helps you a lot. So why play Vecna? Vecna is a very technical killer. He is extremely fun. The level of manipulation that you can have over a chase and over the trial itself, it really feels like you just hit level 100 in all forms of magic in a Skyrim playthrough or something, and you're going against common enemies. He just feels so cool, and there's so much to the micro and the macro gameplay of him. He is extremely fun in so many different ways, like just his base kit powers, and then the add-on game is incredible for him. There are many reasons to pick up this killer, and I highly recommend at least trying him out. That being said, let's get into it. Vecna has 4 main abilities, so we're going to dive into every single one. And starting off, we are looking at his ranged attack, which is called Flight of the Damned. Flight of the Damned is my favorite ability for Vecna, and what he does with this is he will prepare the spell and cast and let go 5 skeletons that will fly forward after spawning for about 30 meters. This ability is pretty easy to dodge, but there's a number of ways that you can use it that are very strong and can end chases very quickly. Understanding the range is really important because it can help you in a number of ways. And number 1 is insta-hits. So an insta-hit is when you are close enough to the survivor so that you can spawn the skeleton right on top of them. Even though the survivor can duck it, it gives them such little warning that these hits usually land, even on good survivors. So you want to find your range. Now, finding your range with Flight of the Damned is actually pretty easy. All you need to do is, when you are holding M2, you might notice that you have little aimers. This is basically a rangefinder, and you can use this to find your range. When you look at a wall or when you look at a survivor, you might notice that your aimer will have a little bar. This bar shows how far your skeleton is going to go before hitting this thing. If you hold M2 or prepare the spell and then move forward until this bar is just at the end, this is where the skeleton is going to spawn. So you can use this to find your range to start learning insta-hits, and insta-hits are incredibly strong. And if you're running the Book of Vile Darkness, insta-hits are almost impossible to dodge. So learning insta-hits and finding your range with the skeletons is very important and can make Vecna extremely oppressive, and even good survivors, you can cause them to panic and run into walls when they're getting hit with skeletons that they cannot duck. So insta-hits, very strong. Now the other way that you can use skeletons is zoning windows and pallets. Now this is a very common usage of skeletons, and one that is, when utilized properly, can really help you to end chases quickly. This is a more common use with base kit skeletons, not using the Book of Vile Darkness, which will lower your skeletons. So zoning a window and pallet, when the survivor is coming up to the pallet, before they vault, you just send the skeleton through the window before they have vaulted, and then typically you are going to follow up with an M1, because if they vault the window, then they're getting hit with the skeleton. Most survivors will not want to vault the window, so they will crouch, and then you can simply follow up with the M1. You can do this on windows and on pallets. Now, the other way that you can use skeletons is using elevation. Now, when Vecna is lower on the ground via a staircase or a hill or something like that, Vecna can cast skeletons, and they will be lower to the ground so that the survivor cannot dodge them. This is a very strong way to use skeletons, and if you are on any staircase or anything like that, you can utilize this to almost guarantee hits a lot of the time. So anytime you're on a map and you notice that you are on a little decline, you can often use this. And even with great range, Vecna's skeletons go a lot farther than most people think. So definitely try to use elevation to your advantage. And that's about it for Flight of the Damned. The Book of Vile Darkness really helps in landing its insta-hits. So if you like using skeletons, I recommend using the Book of Vile Darkness plus the Ornate Horn. This will make insta-hits impossible to dodge, while you can still use them to zone windows and pallets and stuff like that. I like this combo quite a bit, and I highly recommend it. If you like skeletons, and skeletons are my favorite part of Vecna. So, all right, the next ability that we have is Fly. So what is Fly? Fly is an ability that allows Vecna to fly. You prepare the spell, you will elevate, and you let go, and you will start sailing to the heavens. Not really, because you're only 2 feet off the ground. Fly has a pretty good range. You can get at least 30% across most maps. It's a little bit of a charge up to get into full speed, but it is a solid ability that gives Vecna a decent amount of mobility. You can hook a survivor and immediately use Fly to get across the map to get into a chase with somebody else. You can use Fly to hit a survivor and then cast and immediately catch up to them. This is why using the Potion of Speed plus Stabiffle and Rapid, which I used for one of my win streaks, is really good, actually. The other ways that you can use Fly is to fly over a pallet or over a window. And if you are doing this, if the survivor vaults the pallet or window and you fly after them over the window, you want to focus on positioning yourself so that the survivor cannot go back through the window. So you want to just kind of shimmy yourself and really kind of pinch them off and block them from vaulting back. If the survivor is smart, they will cling to the window and vault through you, because if they're close enough to the window, they lose collision. But if they take a step away from the pallet or window, you can block it with your body and follow up with an M1. So another usage of Fly, which is really good, is called the Shimmy Tech. So when a survivor drops a pallet or is on the other side of a window, what you can do if you're flying after them and you think that they're going to vault into you, you can fly back and forth or left and right to kind of trip them out, and then they will vault into you, and then you can let go of Fly on the same side as them and block them on that side and follow up with an M1. This is a pretty good tech that you can kind of use. And the final way that you can use Fly is with elevation. So when a survivor vaults a window that will cause them to fall off of a height, then they will be staggered unless they have balanced landing. So if Vecna uses Fly, On this window, you will come through the window incredibly fast without any stagger at all, and this is basically just a free hit. And there's many windows in the game that you can use this on. So this is another really good usage of fly. Now, the other thing with fly is that this is affected by the Book of Vile Darkness Eerie, which will allow you to block a window for 45 seconds. And this is why the Book of Vile Darkness is a very good add-on, because you can shut down Shack within 15 seconds flat by flying through the window, coming around, and immediately getting a hit, down, or blocking the pallet. It's an incredible add-on, and 45 seconds is a very, very long time. So being aware of this when running the Book of Vile Darkness is very important. So the other ability that we have is the Mage Hand. What is Mage Hand? So Mage Hand is an ability that you prepare it and you can hold a pallet up to stop it from being dropped. You can also, when the pallet is dropped, you can lift the pallet up. So this ability can basically give Vecna a lot of free hits, and it is very strong. There's a couple things that you want to be aware of, though. You do not want to use Mage Hand from a distance. If you are using it from a distance, you are just giving the survivor an extra loop. So you want to be aware of that. You want to use Mage Hand when you are as close as possible to the survivor without getting stunned. Because if you are too close to get stunned as you're casting Mage Hand, it will cancel. So you want to be aware of this and be aware of your positioning. Try and pinch off the survivor as close as they are, as close as you can to the pallet so that you can lift it and immediately come through with the M1. So Mage Hand is a pretty simple ability, and that's about it. Like, you just want to be as close as you possibly can to the survivor. Now, there are some nuances when you start running the Vorpal Sword Eerie. Now, the Vorpal Sword Eerie, what this does is that if the pallet is up, you can still hold the pallet, but if the pallet is down, Mage Hand will turn into a fist and it will break the pallet. So when using the Vorpal Sword, if a survivor drops the pallet in front of you, you don't want to use Mage Hand because the Mage Hand will now cut you off. It takes about 3-4 seconds for the pallet to break. So if you cast Mage Hand, it will cut you off and you'll have to go around or wait for the pallet to break. Now, what you want to do if you're using Vorpal Sword is to let them drop the pallet, loop them around, and then as they go to vault, use Mage Hand so that the Mage Hand will block the pallet since they cannot vault it anymore, and then you can close the distance and get the down. Vorpal Sword is a very fun add-on to run, and it makes Mage Hand really strong. You can also just use it to casually break pallets that are downed and destroy resources while also pinching them off and zoning them. It's a very fun add-on that makes Mage Hand operate quite differently, but I recommend trying it out. It is a very fun add-on. So the final ability that Vecna has is the Dispelling Sphere. What is the Dispelling Sphere? It is an ability that you can use for surveillance. You can use it to cast towards a gen that is across the map, simply to check if somebody is there, and it will give you Killer Instinct. What it also does is when a survivor is hit with the Dispelling Sphere, it will cause their magical items to be dispelled. They will not be able to get usage of their magical items. So there's a couple ways. So these two ways are the most common that you will use them. Using it to dispel items is also very important. If a survivor has gauntlets or boots of the Interloper, which it basically nullifies your Mage Hand. So if you know that a survivor has this item, it's a good idea to use it on them in chase and dispel this item so that they can't get value from it. Interloper is the one magical item that you want to be very aware of when it comes to playing Vecna. Vecna's add-ons do affect the Dispelling Sphere as well in a couple different ways. Number one is when you are running the Staff of Withering. This is a green add-on, and what this add-on does is when you hit a survivor with it, it will exhaust them for 20 seconds. So this actually causes Dispelling Sphere to have quite decent effectiveness in chase. You can use this any first time that you enter a chase with Survivor. You can cast the orb onto them, and they will be exhausted. So they will not have use of Sprint Burst, they will not have use of Life, or Overcome, or Dead Hard even. If you are tunneling a Survivor and you think they might have Dead Hard, you can cast it, and you will be completely free of any worry of Dead Hard or anything like that. The Staff of Withering is a very good add-on, and because of the fact that 90% of survivors run exhaustion perks, this add-on is incredibly strong, and I highly recommend it because it gives your orb so much more power. So I highly recommend the Staff of Withering. Now, the other way that orb is affected with add-ons in a severe way is the Vorpal Sword add-on as well. So the Vorpal Sword add-on will now cause the Dispelling Sphere to make survivors broken for 30 seconds after being hit. So this is a very strong effect to Vorpal Sword, and if you are playing in more of a hit and run playstyle, this will really help you a lot. If a survivor is being unhooked and you're worried about will make it, resurgence, or them maybe having a syringe off of the hook, Vorpal Sword can stop them from getting that heal while you follow up and get that second hook on them. There's many ways that it does really help, so it's definitely noteworthy effect of Vorpal Sword on the Dispelling Sphere. So, Vecna has many items that the survivors can get from chests. Vecna spawns a multitude of chests in the trial. So most of the items that Vecna can give survivors with his chests, most of them will just reveal your aura. So in terms of just a basic game, if all of the survivors have full items, even if you don't know what they are, the common consensus is that when you're using your ability, they're gonna know where you are. So the Skyguard item reveals your aura if you use Fly. There is no distance to this, so if any survivor has this item and you use Fly, they will now know where you are. The Boots and Gauntlets of the Night Watch reveals your aura when you cast Skeletons. Again, there is no distance for this, so if you use Skeletons, they will know where you are. The Archivist item will make the Dispelling Sphere visible, so now this is they will be able to dodge your orb if you are sending it at them across the map. They will also know where you are by the trajectory of the orb and knowing, where it came from. So most of the items, if the survivors have full kits of items, you can pretty much bet that they're going to know where you are, and this is why using stealth perks is not always the best idea on Vecna, because his items reveal him. This is basically what you need to know. They will know where you are a lot of the time when you are casting abilities. But the one item that survivors can get from chests that you really want to be aware of is the Boots and Gauntlets of the Interloper. Now, these items can really hurt you. So what do these do? The Interloper Boots and Gauntlets will grant 7% haste for 3 seconds. which is pretty much as long as the Mage Hand is active. 7% haste for a survivor causes them to speed up considerably and will give them an extra loop. It's a really good idea to try and recognize who has the Interloper gauntlets or boots. And if multiple do, what you need to do is dispel it. You need to cast your orb on them in chase so that they can't get value from it, because this item is incredibly strong and completely nullifies your Mage Hand. So this is the one item that you want to be aware of, because it can sometimes feel like the survivor is cheating because they speed up, but quick orb on them and you will see the hand on the UI, which will tell you, okay, this survivor has Interloper. So now that we've talked about the items, we can talk about the chests. When a survivor hits a 1 on a chest, this will spawn a Mimic. The Mimics will tell you where a survivor is if they are caught in the Mimic, which can really help you. You can grab a survivor out of a Mimic, which is very helpful. Most of the time, if you're just running default add-ons or whatever, it's just kind of passive information, and sometimes you'll get some good value out of a Mimic. But the one thing that can really help you get value from Mimics is the Bag of Holding add-on. So the Bag of Holding add-on will make it so the 2 chests in the trial are guaranteed Mimics, meaning they will always be a Mimic when a survivor goes to touch them. I have used the Bag of Holding in many win streaks on Vecna, and the value is incredible, sometimes even giving downs, because the survivors continuously go to the chest, not understanding how this add-on works. So Bag of Holding is a really good one if you're looking to get value from Mimics. I highly recommend this add-on. So the final thing that we're going to talk about with Vecna in regards to his power are the artifacts, the hand and the eye of Vecna. Now, these are the strongest items that survivors can pull from chests, and there are many nuances to these artifacts that we're going to go over. So we're going to start with the hand of Vecna. When a survivor hits a 20 on a chest, they will get one of the artifacts. If they have the hand of Vecna, when they rush into a locker, this will teleport the survivor to a different locker that is at least 10 meters away. So it won't spawn them to a locker that is like right there. It has to be 10 meters away. When they teleport, it will trigger a loud noise notification on the locker that they have teleported to, and it will give you Killer Instinct on them for 5 seconds after they have teleported. So, what do you need to be aware of with the Hand of Vecna? Basically, check the UI and you will see, as well as Vecna will tell you when he says, "That is not yours." Vecna will tell you, you can check the UI, and when a survivor has the Hand of Vecna, you can also see it on their body. They do have to attune it to their body as well. Basically, don't get baited by these survivors. If you're chasing them, understand that if they have a locker, you're going to lose them right away. So get ready to maybe use Fly to go after somebody else. Try not to get baited by them. And that's pretty much it. Try and get the hit. You can cast Skeletons to maybe zone them away from the locker to get a hit. But just don't get baited. The Hand of Vecna is the stronger of the two artifacts, and typically a survivor will teabag when they have the hand, and they will try and bait you into having a futile chase. So yeah, just don't get baited by them if they have the hand, because they will waste your time. And yeah, that's basically about it. Now, the one thing about the artifacts that people don't understand is that if they have the hand or the eye, you cannot dispel these things. The artifacts are free from the Dispelling Sphere. They cannot be dispelled. You cannot cancel them out with the orb, so be aware of that. Now, the other artifact, which is the lesser stronger, but does have some really incredible utility, is the Eye of Vecna. So when a survivor has attuned the Eye of Vecna on their body, rushing out of a locker has the following effect for 12 seconds. It suppresses their aura, meaning their aura cannot be read. Scratch marks, blood pools, and grunts of pain are also not visible. They are completely invisible. It also gives them 25% haste. They are incredibly fast. Once the survivor is visible again, they will have you'll get Killer Instinct on them very briefly for about 3 seconds. So what do you need to know about the Eye of Vecna? To be honest, 90% of survivors will try and use this like the Hand of Vecna, and they will jump into a locker right in front of you, and you can just kind of down them, to be honest. It's pretty silly. But when a survivor uses this intelligently, it can be really tricky. So the one way that a survivor might use this is when you down, they will hop into a locker to get a flashlight save because they're invisible. Basically, all you need to do if a survivor uses the eye in this manner is just slug the last survivor, wait out the effect of the eye, and maybe you can get a down. After 12 seconds, you'll know where they are, and then you can chase them or go and pick up facing a wall or whatever. But yeah, just wait it out. If they use it in front of you and are trying to get a free save with it, just wait out the 12 seconds. It's not that long. You can afford to slug the survivor. Now, the other way that they might use the Eye of Vecna is to try and get a save. This is a little bit trickier as it's really hard to hear the survivor. A lot of survivors will still run, and you can still hear their footsteps. I have had a few instances with the Eye of Vecna where a survivor tried to unhook their teammate, and I actually heard their footsteps and used my spirit player ears and swung and hit them even though they were invisible. So you can do that as well. If they are trying to use it to get a save, just try and listen, wait it out. Now, the final aspect of the artifacts that you need to be aware of is that when a survivor has attuned these artifacts onto their body, they are now moriable, meaning when they are on death hook, you can kill them by your hand with a mini Mori, and this saves a lot of time. This can counter DS, so it might be in your best interest to tunnel a survivor who has one of the artifacts, as you can completely counter DS. You can also deny their usage of these artifacts by tunneling them and keeping them injured. This is another reason why the Vorpal Sword effect with Broken is very good when it comes to survivors who have the artifacts. So, that about covers all of the main aspects of Vecna. I will talk about perks very quickly. Vecna is a killer that is pretty versatile, and honestly, you can use a wide variety of perks on him. I really like Stabiffle and Rapid, combined with the Potion of Speed. And you can hit a survivor with 8 stacks of Stabiffle, recover really quickly, and the haste of Rapid actually goes into your fly, so you can hit them, recover, get the haste from Rapid, use that into fly, and you can catch up to them really quickly to follow up with a down. Slowdown perks, you can pretty much run anything you want. Ruin Undying is good, Pain Res, Surge is good. Yeah, Vecna can get value from pretty much anything. The one thing that you want to be aware of, though, is that if you're running stealth perks, as we talked about earlier with Vecna's items, survivors can get auras from you pretty easily. And the other thing to understand is that Vecna is pretty loud statically, especially when he's opening his spell book or casting a spell or preparing a spell. Vecna is incredibly loud, so it's generally in your best interest to not try and play stealth Vecna. I mean, you can do whatever you want, but I probably wouldn't do it. But yeah, that's the fun thing about Vecna, is that you can experiment, and I've witnessed Vecna mains run many different builds that have opened my eyes to things that I can run on him. So I recommend experimenting and have fun and see what kind of value you can get, as many different perks synergize with all of his abilities in many different ways. So yeah, you can pretty much run anything. My strongest build that I run on Vecna, that I use to get the 89 win streak, which is the second highest recorded win streak right now, was Rapid Brutality, Save the Best for Last, Pain Res, and Surge, combined with the Bag of Holding add-on, as well as the Potion of Speed add-on. It's just a solid build. It gives you so much more utility from fly in chase, decent slowdown as well. Most downs are caused by an M1 with Vecna, so Surge is just decent slowdown. I recommend this build if you want to be as oppressive as possible. But yeah, he's really fun to experiment with. So that being said, that is about it for the LICH in DBD. So I hope that this guide has been helpful to you, and if it has, be sure to hit that subscribe button, as I would love to do more guide videos for you guys. And yeah, thanks for watching. Peace!